It's been a long time, but there was actually a spirit of compromise on Capitol Hill this week. The House passed a bipartisan budget agreement, which the Senate is also expected to approve next week. But for all the good cheer, there was plenty of criticism, especially from the right. Earlier, I spoke with House Budget Chair Paul Ryan. His Senate counterpart, Patty Murray, declined our invitation. Congressman, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me back. Good to be with you.
Your budget deal has opened an even bigger split inside the Republican Party between the House Republican leaders who supported the compromise and outside Tea Party groups who opposed it, some before it was even announced. Here was House Speaker Boehner this week.
The day before the government reopened, one of the people at one of these groups stood up and said, well, we never really thought it would work. Are you kidding me?
Are you getting fed up with these outside groups who talk tough from the sidelines?
Look, I think John just got his Irish up there. I think these groups are valuable. Look, the way I look at it is this. They're part of our conservative family. I'd prefer to keep these conversations within our family. John was frustrated because they came out against our agreement before we even reached an agreement. I was frustrated about that as well. But I see the Tea Party as indispensable, invaluable in helping keep the taxpayer in the game, keep Washington accountable. And when I look at when we lost our majority in 06, we deserved to lose it then. They helped us get our ship righted again by being fiscally conservative. And I think what we're doing here today, we got 2/3 of the House conservatives voting for this. I think this is a step in the right direction. It's not as far as I want to go, but it's a step in the right direction.
But you're also taking heat, not just from outside groups. You're also taking heat from some fellow Republicans in Congress, including, and one might say especially, some potential rivals for the 2016 presidential nomination. Here was Senator Marco Rubio.
It raises it by $60 billion, the spending, but it pays it over 10 years. Well, you know how that works. I mean, over the next couple of years, they'll forget it, and they'll keep borrowing more.
What do you say back to Marco Rubio?
Well, I would love to talk to him about it. Marco's a good friend of mine. I disagree with him respectfully. We are making permanent law changes, permanent spending cuts, and those savings accrue and accumulate and compound over time. So not only are we doing $85 billion of savings from autopilot spending, that's permanent, we're paying for $63 billion of sequester relief, half of it going to defense. We're maintaining 92% of the sequester in this deal, and we're preventing 2 government shutdowns from possibly occurring next year.
Okay, but let's look at the deal. I want to put up some numbers on the screen, some of which you've just mentioned. You bust the sequester caps and increase spending by $62 billion over the next 2 years.
Can I get you right there for a second?
Wait, let me finish, and then you can redo all the math. I'll probably make several mistakes. While you reduce deficits by $85 billion over the next 10 years for a net deficit reduction of $23 billion. The biggest complaint is that you're trading definite spending increases right now in return for the promise of deficit reduction, as one critic put it, during Hillary Clinton's second term.
Well, let's hope that never happens. Okay, here's my issue. We're not busting sequester caps. In just the next 2 years, 70% of the sequester is intact.
But $60 billion more is going to be spent.
That's right. 92% of the sequester over the life of the sequester is intact. The Democrats came to this